Welcome back, everyone. We are now on question 11 in our CKA hands on series. And today, we're working on something that every real world DevOps engineer must know: the sidecar logging pattern. In this lab, we're going to update an existing deployment, add a logging sidecar container, and set up a shared volume so both containers can access the same log file. This is one of those questions that looks complicated, but once you understand the structure, it becomes easy points in the exam. The question read as: a legacy app needs to be integrated into the Kubernetes built-in logging architecture, i.e., kubectl logs. Adding a streaming co-located container is a good and common way to accomplish this requirement. Task: update the existing deployment synergy deployment, adding a co-located container named Sidecar using the busybox stable image to the existing pod. The new co-located container has to run the following command: use a volume mounted at /var/log to make the log file synergy-deployment.log available to the co-located container. Do not modify the specification of the existing container other than adding the required. Hint: use a shared volume to expose the log file between the main application container and the sidecar. Let's break it down. The problem says we have a deployment called Synergy Deployment. Inside it, the main application writes logs to /var log synergy deployment.log. We need to add a second container called a sidecar that runs asterisk tail -n plus 1 -f /var log synergy deployment.log. To do this, we must create a shared volume where the log file lives. The main container writes the log. The sidecar container tails the log. Both share the same volume mounted at /var/log. Final requirement: do not modify the original container spec except adding the volume mount. So let's launch the scenario with our helper script at /root/setup_scenario_only.sh10. And let's check the deployment with this command. Also check pods with this kubectl-n synergy get pods. Now we dump the deployment YAML to a file. Instead of kubectl edit, we first export the deployment YAML to a file with this command kubectl-n synergy get deploy synergy deployment -o YAML greater than a YAML file. But I will advise you to always use the naming convention as your question numbers. Now we have a backup copy of the spec. If anything goes wrong, we can always revert. Now let's edit the YAML file to add volume plus sidecar. For this, we open the file with our editor, and here we are using VI. Once in the file, we find the main container under containers and add volume mount to the main container. We're not changing its image or command, just giving it a place to write logs that both containers can see. Now let's add the sidecar container to containers list. Still in the same file, after the main container object, add this. Make sure to always copy and paste. And a quick note, under the argument you want to adjust the command because CKA exams mess things up with the commas. Add the shared volume under, but if volumes doesn't exist yet, you add the whole block. So the final structure under spec.template.spec looks roughly like this. Save and exit. This method is more stable in the CKA exam because even if the kubectl session times out, your YAML file remains on disk. Now we reapply the deployment definition with our sidecar changes with this kubectl apply-f command, and we can watch the rollout with this command. Verify both containers are present by getting one pod name, but my environment in Killer Coda does not reflect that. But this will be okay in your exam environment. Describe the pod. If you see log content flowing, that means the sidecar logging pattern is working perfectly. And that's question 11 done. You should now see two containers inside the same pod: the original app, the new sidecar container, and that means our change worked. But like I said, it will not reflect here in Killer Coda. So a quick wrap up: you now know how to add a sidecar container, configure shared volumes, tail logs from the main container, modify deployments correctly during the exam, dump a deployment to a YAML file, edit it, and reapply. This is much safer than live editing because if anything goes wrong, you still have your YAML file as a backup. In the real CKA exam, anytime you have to make structural changes to deployments, stateful sets, or daemon sets, this is the technique I recommend. kubectl get-o YAML greater than file.yaml edit with vi kubectl apply -f file.yaml. In the next question, we'll move on to Cert Manager CRDs and kubectl explain, another quick but important exam topic. If you want to practice these CKA questions exactly the way I'm doing them in this video series, fast, clean, and exam ready, I've packaged everything for you into one complete zip bundle. Inside the file, you will get all the resources I used throughout this training, fully organized and ready to deploy into any Kubernetes environment. This bundle saves you hours of setup time and lets you focus only on mastering the hands-on exam tasks. Here's exactly what you'll receive when you download it: all 18 CKA scenario YAMLs, full scenario setup script, README for all 18 questions, detailed guide, individual README files, Q1 to Q18, optional add-on, full ingress gateway API migration files, exam PDF, references, your complete CKA scenario practice guidebook, docx plus PDF. Bonus: Google Doc index file. Who this bundle is for: CKA candidates preparing for exam day, students practicing on Killer Coda, Minikube, or Kind, engineers who want clean Kubernetes lab scenarios, anyone building their own hands-on DevOps portfolio, content creators teaching CKA concepts. Why you should get the bundle? Instead of wasting hours creating YAML files or rebuilding scenarios from scratch, you get everything pre-configured and ready to deploy. This is the exact same setup I use in my videos, the same files I demonstrate with, and the same structure that helped me pass the exam confidently. If you want to follow along one-to-one and practice with zero frustration, this bundle is made for you. You can download the full zip bundle directly from my website. Your support helps me continue creating these tutorials, labs, and exam guides so we can all grow together in this DevOps journey. Start practicing like a real CKA candidate. Get the full setup now and follow along with the next questions.
Build the future. One line of code, one dream at a time.
From the cloud to the console, the rhythm flows.